Hi everybody, I'm John Collins. I'm a high-stakes leadership consultant and executive coach at Victories, and this is the next installment in our Professionalism Wins series. I'm actually recording this video from the beautiful city of Phoenix, Arizona, where I had a chance to speak yesterday at a very important forensic science conference called the International Symposium on Human Identification. And what I thought I would do is take a moment to share with you some ideas with regards to public speaking. Public speaking is not easy, and it's never something that you entirely get used to. I'm a very active public speaker. I teach a lot of workshops like I did on Monday this week, where I spoke from 8:30 in the morning till 5 o'clock in the afternoon, which is quite a challenge, as you can imagine. But public speaking is something that many people are afraid of and causes quite a bit of anxiety. And even for somebody like myself, who is a very avid speaker and spends a lot of time in front of large audiences, public speaking makes me nervous. And I have found through experience that there are certain things that I do that either increase my anxiety or lower my anxiety. And what I thought I would do is just simply share with you some things that you can think about when you yourself want to do some public speaking or you're going to be appearing in front of an audience. First and foremost, whenever you have an opportunity to speak in front of a group, I really believe that you have an obligation to try to make your presentation as informative and as enjoyable as possible for your audience. If they are willing to give you the courtesy of their time and attention, then you owe that to them. So it doesn't really matter what topic you're talking about, how serious it is, or how technical it is. You can always make an effort to make your talk informative and enjoyable for the audience. In order to be a successful public speaker, you really have to be able to put yourself in the shoes of your audience and think to yourself that if I was sitting there and listening to me speak, what would I want to hear? What would I want to see in my speaker? What kind of tone of voice would I expect? What kind of body posture and facial expressions would I expect that speaker to use during the presentation? It's important to note that public speaking is as much about the body as it is the voice. In fact, I would make the case that it is more about the body than it is the voice. Whenever you're delivering a message, the way that you carry yourself, the way that you hold your shoulders and elbows back, not rigidly, comfortably, the way that you use your facial expressions, whether or not you scrunch your eyes like this or you keep your eyebrows up in kind of an open and engaged type of facial expression, really affects how people interpret your message. Whenever you speak, you want to be confident, you want to be respectful, you never want to be arrogant or come across as narcissistic, but you want to speak like you're an individual that really is credible in the subject that you're talking about. In the days leading up to your presentation, there are some things that you can do also to really help keep your anxiety under control. Number one, it's very important, in my opinion, during the 48 hours leading up to your presentation, to eat as healthy as you can. Don't eat any sugar or sweets, don't eat any greasy foods, avoid alcohol, because these things tend to have a toxic effect on your body and just will cause you to not feel as good as you could potentially feel. When we eat well, when we drink a lot of water, we just feel good and we act like we feel good. And when we feel good, we tend to come across as more confident. So in those days leading up to your presentation, I really encourage my clients, and I encourage you, to take care of your body well before that presentation. So when it comes time to stand on that stage or stand behind that lectern, that you're going to feel good and you're going to feel confident. The second thing is that don't be anxious about your anxiety. There's something that you need to understand, and something it took me a while to understand about the anxiety that one feels when public speaking. And that is that there are two sides of your brain that are kind of competing with each other. You have a left side of your brain, which is the executive functioning side of the brain, and then you have the right side, which is considered to be the creative side of your brain. In the days leading up, or the hours or minutes leading up to your presentation, that right side of your brain kind of kicks into overdrive. That's the creative, imaginative side. So it starts to play tricks on you, and it starts to imagine all of these horrible things are going to happen while you're giving your presentation, that you're going to fumble on your words, that you're going to forget what you were going to say, that the audience isn't going to think you're interesting, or that the audience isn't going to even think you know what you're talking about. But the great thing that happens is that once you begin speaking, and once you begin actually executing the action of speaking, that left side of your brain takes over. And once those executive functions kick in, they tend to suppress that imaginative, creative side that's trying to make you lose confidence in what you're doing. So even though you feel anxiety, just have some trust that once you begin speaking, that creative, anxious-ridden side of your brain on the right side is going to be suppressed by the left side of your brain. It happens to me all the time, and you hear many athletes talk about this before they go into a big game. They're very anxious before they go into the game, but once they start, they relax because now they're into worrying about their performance. The final tip that I wanted to leave you with is to have the right mindset when you are public speaking, because there's a certain mindset that tends to raise anxiety, and there's a certain mindset that tends to lower anxiety. People that have the highest levels of anxiety when they're preparing to speak or while they are speaking are people that are expecting to be perfect. They think that in order to give a good presentation that they have to do it 100% perfectly, and they have to do it exactly the way that they've scripted or exactly the way that they envision themselves doing it. The mindset that I like to have when I speak publicly is to think of myself as a servant, to try to think of myself as being grateful for the opportunity that I have to share this moment with these people, to be grateful for the fact that they're giving me the courtesy of their time and attention, and to be grateful that I even have a voice, that I even have the opportunity to be in front of an audience like that. So in that regard, the mindset that I think works best in public speaking is to think of yourself as a servant. You're there to serve your audience, you're there to serve the occasion, to serve the event, and don't put pressure on you to think that you need to be perfect. Instead, think to yourself something like this: I hope that I can deliver a message that these individuals before me will take some value from, and I hope that I will be able to deliver a message and have clarity of thought that will allow me to represent myself and my area of expertise with the most professionalism. So mindset is everything. So take care of your body and your mind leading up to the presentation. Don't get anxious about your anxiety. Just understand that it's normal. I like to think of it as being on high alert. And trust that once you start speaking, that anxiety is going to be suppressed and your executive functions are going to kick in and you're going to probably do just fine. And then finally, have the right mindset, have the right attitude about speaking. Go into it as a servant. Don't go into it with huge expectations, but go into it with gratefulness and hopefulness, and chances are that you're going to do absolutely fine as a public speaker. Please take a moment to check out our other Professionalism Wins videos here at YouTube. And if you'd like to learn a little bit more about me and my practice at Critical Victories, please visit my website at www.criticalvictories.com. Thank you very much for watching.